This is ridiculous. This is
you
ridiculous.
couldn't draw it up any better. I'm so good at this.
This is rigged. I hate everything about my list. I'm upset.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. Don't they got love before us? Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance, throwing rhythm in the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast here in late July. It is 9:30 on the 25th of July in the year of our Lord 2023, and you are joining us wherever you're getting your podcast on YouTube or Spotify. My name is Ryan Doyle. I'm joined by my co-host Robbie Bergstone, our executive producer Connor Doyle, who makes this whole show work, and we have an action-packed episode for you guys today.
We may be in the dead season of sports, but we got some headlines today.
Yeah,
and
today's nuts.
Football is coming. That's what these. I'm reading through these headlines and kind of putting the notes. Football is coming, guys.
It is. It's only 30 days away, something like that. It's like 1 month.
It's very close.
It's close. We got to be drafting our fantasy teams soon. All that stuff is kicking up.
Crazy. Great time to be alive. Love the fall.
Great time to be alive.
Absolutely.
And end of summer, beginning of fall. It's such an exciting time for North American sports.
Yeah. Gentlemen, let's talk about some money and make ourselves feel inadequate. Because most of our headlines revolve around money.
Don't need money for that.
I drank water right as you were saying that, and we hit the wrong pipe there. But that's all right. We're back. We're good. Keep going. I'm on mute for a second while I cough my lung up.
Our co-host Robbie Bergstone is currently dying.
He's fucking dying over there. His shirt's the same color as his face. Normally,
all right, guys. Just confirmed. I still cannot breathe underwater. In case anyone was curious, still can't do that. So,
for our listeners, he tries once a week.
Once a week, once a day.
It still hasn't worked out, but hey, just need one.
I have it every day on my work. Every day on my work calendar at 11:30 a.m. I just try to drink water down the wrong hole and see if I can do it. I still can't, but maybe one day.
Yeah, he had a meeting with HR the other day because he puts it on his work calendar, and it just says waterboarding at 11:30 a.m. and they're really concerned about that. They're like, what do you mean by this?
I invite the whole organization to it too. Everyone gets an invite. And it just says waterboarding, and apparently you can't do that. So
I was just thinking,
keep that in mind.
Showed up to the last one.
It's kind of
sick bastards, honestly.
It's just imagining Robbie going to a local water park and just there's tons of families and kids around, and just face down trying to breathe.
I'm at the end of the wave pool on a floaty, pouring water over my face.
And the lifeguard who's seen this 20 times in the past.
It's just Robbie. Yeah.
He's here literally every weekend. I don't know what he does, but he's just always here.
And he's always really frustrated whenever he goes out of the pool.
He has a season pass and he never goes anywhere but the pool. It doesn't make any sense.
Moving into some of our sports news and the aforementioned money. Justin Herbert, the quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers, has become the highest paid NFL quarterback and player of all time with a 5-year contract, $262.5 million deal. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Burrow soon passed this figure. So it's we keep setting these records and they keep being broken by the next quarterback who's getting signed just because the market got reset. But obviously, we talked about Herbert a little bit last week, and we think he's kind of a prove-it guy. Do you think that it was a good move by the Chargers to give him this kind of money?
You got to pay your young guy, who has the talent to be a top 5 quarterback in this league. In this day and age, you got to pay the quarterback. You can't let him walk.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if they're a top 10 quarterback, you can't let him walk, right? Because the odds are the guy that you'd bring in to replace him is worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we talked about him last week, like you said, Connor, in terms of being one of the biggest prove it years of any NFL player. If he wasn't number one already, this contract makes him with the most to prove of any player in the NFL next year, I think. That's a lot of money to be thrown around. It's put up or shut up time for Justin Herbert. I guess he has 5 more years, but
yeah,
he's got to prove that he's worth that money.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be interesting. I think he'll be good this year, but I guess we'll see. Moving on to another contract extension. The Cowboys have signed cornerback Trayvon Diggs to a 5-year, $97 million extension. The Cowboys looking like they kind of want to, I guess, run it back for the most part, or bring a lot of the same guys back. So Ryan, you made a face there at this signing. What do you think?
A lot of money. lot of money for a guy that's like been a ball hawk, and ball hawks traditionally are really hot or not seasons. I'm not saying like, obviously Deion Sanders is kind of like an outlier with that kind of stuff, but when ball hawks fall off, they fall off hard, right? So like if he has 3 really good years and all of a sudden like kind of falls off for the 4th and 5th, paying $20 million a year for a cornerback is a lot of money. So I'm really interested to see how it plays out. Obviously, the Cowboy defense last year was really good. I think they led the league in turnovers, I believe, and they were second in the league in differential. So obviously, they want to keep that advantage.
And that's something they talk about a lot. Teams that have a good turnover differential generally make the playoffs, because if you have the ball more than the other team, you're going to score more than they do, and that's really what it all comes down to. This makes him the tie for the 4th highest paid cornerback in the league. I was curious. I don't know anything about cornerback contracts, but I just looked it up. He's behind Jair Alexander, makes $21 million a year.
Makes sense.
Denzel Ward makes $20.1. Jalen Ramsey's at 20, and then he's tied with Marlon Humphrey at $19.5 million a year.
For his age, right? Yeah. I think he has over the past 2 seasons has earned the contract, and I think it's like he's kind of an emotional leader of that defense. So it's like I understand paying him. It's just a lot of money. It's just I hope he plays well, doesn't get hurt.
Looking at the list, there's probably some corners behind him that you would take over him, but like not a lot.
Sure.
Behind him is like Marshawn Lattimore, Xavier Howard, both getting up there a little bit more. Tre'Davious White as well. So, for a young guy who's proven that he can, get the ball, he can get interceptions, he can, turn the game around, it seems like a decent value.
Moving on here, another thing that we mentioned in last week's pod, Saquon Barkley's contract has gotten figured out. Running back Saquon Barkley has signed the franchise tag with the New York Giants. The team announced today. The deal is a 1-year adjusted franchise tag worth $10.1 million, fully guaranteed, and up to $11 million with incentives. The tag was adjusted to add a $2 million signing bonus as well as the incentives.
The running back market is just nuts, and how much it's reset in the past 5 years. That's they're just not going to pay him anymore.
Yeah,
and it makes sense. The big ones. When was the last time all 5 of the top running backs going in the season played the whole year? Probably, maybe never. But it's been way worse recently. They're not worth the money right now.
Especially when you see more teams opting for the running back by committee. The days of the true workhorse and bell cow are they're just not as effective, right? Like you want a different guy on first down than you potentially want on third down, and if you're trying to pay all those guys, you got to split up the money. So, and
at the end of the day, it's a passing league now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the quarterback right now in the NFL.
When I also, not just coming from a Cowboys fan, but I think, honest to God, I think teams got kind of turned off by that Zeke contract, because he was 5 years, $65 million, and then he wasn't very good.
That's probably the last big running back contract. I can't think of one recently that was quite that big. I think McCaffrey got a decent bag at one point, but
McCaffrey. We talked about this last week. McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara both have bigger contracts.
Yeah. Guess we'll see.
But those are again more pass oriented backs.
They're backs that can play all 3 downs. They can actually catch the ball to the backfield.
And Zeke could have done that a little bit early in his career.
Yeah, Saquon can. And I think they'll get Saquon involved now, but they have Matt Breida on the bench, which is who they generally bring in for some of their downs to catch the ball. So I think that's part of their hesitation to pay Saquon.
So honestly, but a $10 million a year fully guaranteed is a hell of a deal for a running back in this market.
Yep.
That's a really good deal for Saquon compared Miles Sanders, who just got 26, and some of the other backs that we've seen signed in the offseason. I don't know what you're going to get that's better.
Well, you would know if you told people 5 years ago that that'd be a good contract, they'd probably laugh at you, because we know how much contracts are jumping, especially recently. You'd expect these running backs to be getting paid by now, but it's actually going the opposite way.
So unfortunately, our podcast title from last week is already outdated, so I'm going to delete the channel. Moving on, we have 2 men who have not gotten their contracts figured out, unfortunately, and will not be reporting to did not report to training camp. One being Josh Jacobs, the running back of the Las Vegas Raiders, and the other being Zach Martin, the right guard of the Dallas Cowboys. Both did not report to training camp as a part of contract renegotiations. They didn't get it figured out, so they decided not to attend training camp. Josh Jacobs really holding out. So obviously he thinks he's worth more than they're willing to give him.
He's going to end up signing the tag like Saquon, I think.
Probably,
I don't think they're going to give him a contract.
Yeah, unfortunately not either. I don't know what Zach Martin's gonna do. He's just kind of. Well, he's still really good, but he's just kind of old at this point.
I was gonna say he's getting up there, right? Especially for an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
I think he's probably holding out for a long-term deal.
Yeah, it might be.
That's what you see with all these guys who are perennial. He was a perennial All-Pro.
Yeah,
has been a Pro Bowler his entire career. He wants one more big bag before, because you saw it with the Cowboys' offensive line, like Tyron Smith. Travis Frederick, those guys just all of a sudden you get hurt, catch it. Like Frederick got a degenerative disease and was out of the league within a couple of months. So it's you just want one more big deal, and he is the anchor of that offensive line.
And being an offensive lineman in the NFL, you lose one step and you're done. Yeah. I mean, if you lose any type of speed, maybe you hurt your knee or whatever else, you just can't keep up with those guys on the other side. They're all way too athletic already, and then you get injured and have issues. It's hard to come back from them.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on to the last NFL headline that we have for the day. Really unfortunate. Buffalo Bills running back Nyheim Hines will miss the season after he sustained an ACL injury when he was struck by a jet ski. Freak injury. That sucks. That's crazy.
It's every single year, whether it's one of the major North American sports, right before the season starts, you hear of a freak accident that happened to somebody. I remember one year in the Major League Baseball, there is a starting pitcher that tore a tendon in his elbow from playing too much Guitar Hero in the off season.
Yep. Jeez, dude, that's nuts.
Well, and then you had
no bullshit. That's that was the reason why it was did it just worn away over the off season.
And then you had Jason Pierre-Paul, who blasted off two of his fingers on the 4th of July, setting off fireworks.
That was awful. And then he was still really good that season, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it was,
But he's just out there running around with 8 fingers, just dominating.
Yeah.
Pause. But
jeez.
But do you remember there's a couple of off seasons ago, right when Mahomes was starting his ascent, he got caught playing pickup basketball. And the Chiefs, literally, you cannot do that. You cannot just go out and play pickup. You're gonna tear an ACL. You're gonna go up and you're gonna come down wrong. You're gonna tear an ACL. I think they put it in his mega contract. Cannot play basketball in the offer. Something ridiculous.
That's
you just can't do this. It's not allowed.
Thoughts and prayers, obviously, to Nyheim Hines. Hopefully, he recovers well. And that sucks, obviously, for him. So hopefully, he recovers well and comes back even stronger next season.
So, was he on a jet ski and got hit by another jet ski?
I believe that's what it was. Okay. I believe that's what it was.
How did you get hit by a jet ski in your knee? Getting run over by a jet ski is one thing when you're in the water. But how did you hurt your ACL?
I think that was that's what happened.
That makes sense.
We're going to move into something that the boys have kind of seen on TikTok, and we want to jump on it before we
are not
miss out on it.
We are not creative.
So we're going to do a blind ranking because we just talked about a lot of NFL stuff and we have less NBA stuff. It's going to be NBA based. I have 2 sets of lists, one for Ryan and one for Robbie. And we're going to do a blind ranking. For Robbie, we're going to do NBA point guards. I'm going to give him 5 NBA point guards, and I'm just going to give him, and he just has to rank them, whatever he hears first. I'm going to give him Steph Curry, and he'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to see what the list is by the end. And for Ryan, I'm going to do NBA power forwards, and then we're going to see how it works out.
Current or all time?
This is current. This is all current players. These are all. So Robbie, we're going to go into yours here, and it's NBA point guards, like I said. Robbie, the first name on your list, De'Aaron Fox.
Ooh. That's a sneaky pick. He had a great year last year, part of that resurgent Kings team. I think there's still a good number of point guards better than him in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4. I'm going to give myself some room at the top.
Okay.
I just feel like there's a good number of point guards that still take over De'Aaron Fox at this point.
I respect it. The beloved on this podcast, Chris Paul.
5. Sorry, it's not my puck. It's not my turn.
He's we talked about this, forgetting that Chris Paul was actually still a decent point guard up until he just kept getting hurt. But right now, I don't really want Chris Paul as my point guard. He's old. He's coming off the bench now. He's a 6th man.
This is true. This is very true. Tyrese Halliburton,
another guy that had a really good year last year that might have flown under the radar for if you don't watch a lot of NBA. I'm gonna go 3 for Halliburton. I might have swapped him and Fox if I'd had the opportunity, but I'm okay with him at 3.
All right, Drew Holiday.
I'm just kidding. I'm getting shit on. I put De'Aaron Fox too low. That's on me.
I could have told you that.
that I thought about 3. I was like,
pre-wrote this list. I'm not doing this. I pre-wrote this list. I'm not doing this to spite you or anything.
next
This is not bait. This is not bait.
This is not bait.
Next is gonna be Russ, and I'm gonna get flamed. I'm gonna get actually fine. Drew Holiday's at 2. I don't know who you have next, but I'm just better than Drew Holiday.
The last one on the list is Marcus Smart.
Jesus fucking Christ! Can we redo this?
Put all these dudes like between 10 and 15. Like,
I know.
Connor just picked the most mid point guards.
That was the point.
This sucks. I was really expecting there to be at least one like top 5 point guard in the NBA, and I didn't get a single one.
It happens, man.
I'm going to put that on Connor. I really expected there to be a range of point guards, not all of them right there between 10 and 20.
Yeah, right.
I just kind of want to see what happens.
Brutal. That's brutal.
We're gonna move on.
Smart number 1. You heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard
it. Best point guard. Best point guard.
We're gonna go with Ryan here.
Can I get a reroll on Marcus Smart though? Because like he might not really play point guard this year when Ja comes back.
That's true.
No, you suck.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Ryan gets NBA power forwards here, and we're gonna start off the list with Anthony Davis. Robbie's pressed.
We're gonna put 80 at 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I respect it. Number 2.
Is he playing?
Yeah. He's playing.
No. Street clothes, Davis. Where are you putting it?
Still 2.
It's really valid. Number 2, we're gonna go with Kristaps Porzingis.
We're gonna give KP the 4 spot.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that. Number 3, Draymond Green.
5. I'm taking quick. KP over Draymond at this point in his career.
You're about to get burned. Connor's about to throw out right here, and you're gonna have Kyle Kuzma at 2.
Kuz. Number 4, Pascal Siakam.
I think you can't put Siakam over AD, so you got to put him at 3. Who do I got at 1? Who have I absolutely just fucked?
Fortunately, I think Ryan might have a pretty good list here because the last one I have is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
This is ridiculous.
You couldn't draw it up any better. I'm so good at this.
This is ridiculous. This is rigged. I hate everything about my list. I'm upset.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit, Connor. You absolutely left out in the cold on that list.
Just want to see what happens.
That's going to be a great Instagram reel. People are going to get really pressed about that. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Connor.
Of course. That. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Fucking lob. Holy shit.
Moving on here to some NBA headlines. Talking about money, gentlemen, we have to talk about the highest paid player in NBA history today. Jaylen Brown with a 5-year, $304 million contract.
That is going to be a great trivia question in a couple years. Like, who became the highest paid NBA player in 2023? And no one's going to guess Jaylen Brown. That's for damn sure.
I saw a report that said apparently right now people are thinking that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will become the first player ever to get a $400 million contract.
Nuts.
How much time does he have on his current rookie deal?
Jay, I don't know how much. I thought he signed an extension.
He might have. Yeah, but say he's been in long enough. It's either like this year or he's already signed some type of extension.
Like Luka signed an extension.
Yeah.
Did Shai maybe exercise his 5th-year rookie option?
I'm not sure.
This would be his 5th year.
Why the fuck would he do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, stupid.
I'm just trying to figure out the contract.
Bad ranking list, bad insights.
Marcus Smart. I'm buying a Marcus Smart jersey now. Marcus Smart number 1, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I respect it.
I need to get an LA De La Cruz jersey.
He's good. He hammered that home run. Holy, that was like 465.
That was part of my parlay.
Oh, that's kind of
Did the rest of it hit?
No.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll share with my listeners. It was a 4-leg parlay. One was Ellie De La Cruz homer, which was the big meaty Johnson of said parlay. One was another Reds hitter.
It's the most biased parlay of all time because he's a Reds homer now. So it was
correct. It was all Reds things happening.
Yeah.
Guy named Martin to get a hit, who's actually been super hot for the Reds. He's batting over 300. Encarnacion, who is a call up for the minors, kind of similar to Ellie, to get 2+ total bases. Reds money line and Ellie homer. It was like 10 to win 250. And Ellie started off the game with the homer, and I'm like, oh, we're fucking cooking. And then
we're nuts.
Then they went 0-3 for the rest of the parlay.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
The Reds are allergic to beating the Brewers. Anyways.
Yeah. We'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Moving on to another NBA headline real quick. And this comes at the team of Robbie's beloved Charlotte Hornets. Michael Jordan has officially sold the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion. The NBA, I think, approved it today or late yesterday. Robbie, how do we feel about that?
Bad man gone. We're free. Greatest player of all time. Worst owner possibly ever.
Rob,
possibly ever.
What are the odds that MJ flipped a coin to settle on the final sale price, to gamble the final sale price?
How much one bet he had
between 3 and 3.1 billion? He's like, I'll flip you for it type shit.
I bet he had to sell the team because he lost like a hand of blackjack. This is for the Hornets. I'm still gonna sell it to you because it's too much money just to give away. But I have to sell it if I lose this hand of blackjack, and he did.
Yeah. Typical MJ.
So Robbie, you're willing to stake your claim in that Michael Jordan is a worse owner than Dan Snyder?
I was speaking specifically NBA, but then I also thought about Sarver, and I don't think I can throw that out there either. So, me personally, my least favorite owner. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
He's above racists and like people that commit sexual assault crimes. But
also, speaking of official sales going through, Snyder's sale just went through officially. Yeah. That just got approved. So another bad man gone. Congrats, Commanders fans, and they might change the name.
Yeah,
how much did that sell for?
A lot.
It was a lot more than people thought it was going to sell for. I think it reset the market on NFL teams, even though no one's had to sell their fucking NFL team.
Yeah, but they might change the name. They might not be the Washington Commanders for much longer. The new ownership group is interested in changing the name, so that could be something to keep an eye out for.
What do you like?
I was a big fan of like the Red Wolves, so you kind of keep the Redskins like tradition there, but like obviously it's a little different. I thought that was a cool name. Some people also throw out like people did like the pigskins because football. So the skins part of it, I didn't like that one as much.
That's kind of like 60s cartoonies ish. It's not.
Yeah, I would agree. I think my favorite was the Red Wolves. That was like one of them. That was like on their final list at one point. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
I like Commanders. For some reason, I just like the Washington Generals. Kind of like flows off the tongue. I think there's an XFL team named Generals. Or
if you're thinking of the team that plays the Globetrotters.
I might be.
Yeah, you could.
That name goes hard.
So that is it in terms of the NBA. Like I said, not a ton of NBA headlines today. So we're going to move into some of our miscellaneous combined headlines currently. One of them being Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA are in discussions about a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension in the 2023 season. The looming suspension is tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into Michigan in which Harbaugh faces a level 1 violation, the most serious kind in the NCAA's purview, for not cooperating with NCAA enforcement.
You put links in the notes? That goes hard.
Well, I just copied and pasted it from.
I clicked on it. I was like, "Oh, there's the article. I can like read about
That's from,
make sure I'm not saying anything stupid." But
from ABC Sports News. Well, people on Twitter and stuff were, and granted, I didn't fully read into this, but people on Twitter and stuff were saying that it was like he bought a kid like a fast food meal or something, and like at least it's like the worst offense in the NCAA.
It was because he didn't cooperate with them. Yeah, the story is that like he took a couple recruits out after a camp or something and took them to get like food. And they didn't report it, but that's technically an impermissible benefit because they're not a part of the program and you're recruiting them. And like, it obviously, like, I don't know, he probably spent like $50 on it, but like, he did that. And then somebody's like, this is a violation. He's like, this is stupid. I'm not going to cooperate. And that's why they actually came back. So it's not that he really did anything wrong. The NCAA just felt slighted and they tend to get uppity. A little bit upset.
But at the same time, like Harbaugh, like just go along with like they're not gonna I would be surprised if they would slam you for something like that if you just like cooperated with them.
Well, you drive around any like Power 5 conference football team and you see what all the football players are driving and you're like, do you think every single one of them was just given a Hellcat or like bought a Hellcat with their own money?
That's allowed now.
Yeah, NIL money, bro.
Yeah, NIL, but can't buy some players like a McChicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. You also cannot give them money at McDonald's back. Keep that in mind. That's not allowed. Looking at you, Jeremy Pruitt.
I also saw on Twitter people saying that, oh no, how will Michigan face such an easy schedule without Jim Harbaugh? Because apparently Michigan has like a crazy easy schedule this year. So,
I'm sure it's like fucking Toledo, Central Michigan,
UConn.
Yeah, just to start.
Moving on to something that is a little more serious, unfortunately, but fortunately he has been he is okay currently. But Bronny James, who is the eldest son of LeBron James, suffered cardiac arrest on Monday and is currently in stable condition. Apparently, it occurred while he was having a practice conditioning session at USC with the school which he is committed to playing college basketball. Thankfully, the medical staff at USC was able to take care of him and get him to the hospital. He was in ICU. He's in stable condition, no longer in ICU. But obviously, that's terrifying for someone who's an 18-year-old to have something like cardiac arrest happen. That's just horrifying.
Apparently, this happened at USC last year too. They had another 5-star recruit who suffered a cardiac incident in practice in the off season.
That's crazy.
So just a weird coincidence, and unfortunate that happened at the same school twice. But this also apparently happened last year at USC.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, obviously this gets so highlighted because of who he is. And I mean, I don't know in terms of how it affects his future with basketball. Obviously, you hope it doesn't. But if they unfortunately find some kind of underlying issue, that obviously sucks.
They also said they were outside conditioning, and I mean, it is hot as hell
that's
outside on the West Coast. I mean, there's any number of things that could avoid that happening. Unfortunately, just an unfortunate situation.
Of course. Yeah. So obviously, thoughts and prayers to the James family there and Bronny, and hopefully that he remains in stable condition and his future isn't jeopardized in any sense from this. Hopefully. Moving on, we have talking about some more money and some obscene money. Saudi Arabian soccer club Al Hilal is preparing to make a $1.1 billion offer to sign striker Kylian Mbappe from French club Paris Saint-Germain. According to multiple reports, the proposed deal includes a $332 million transfer fee paid to PSG and a $776 million salary paid to Mbappe for one season. And this one contract would enable him to play in Saudi Arabia before he joins the team that he really wants to join, Real Madrid. So this dude's getting paid $776 million to play for one season.
International soccer money is different, and obviously,
Saudi Arabian money is different.
Yeah, but you've seen some obscene transfer fees paid before, right?
But this is
entire earnings for careers for some guys over here. But some of the Saudis were going to offer Messi a 3-year, $1.6 billion contract or something like that.
They're going to offer Tiger Woods over $1 billion if he play on the Live Tour as well. I mean, they just have money that is unfathomable at times.
Yeah, it's just wow. Yeah, I cannot imagine that. It's just an obscene figure.
I saw obviously the Mets are they have the highest payroll in the MLB. If not, they're up there. They've been talking about how much money they spend, not been good, but this is double their entire payroll.
Heavens. Well, I saw so many people
for one season.
I saw so many people saying on social media they're desperately hoping that the Saudis never get involved in the NBA or the NFL because it's weird.
I don't think that those sports are popular enough internationally. Maybe basketball.
Yeah, basketball might be.
But Mbappe is one of the top 5 most popular, probably the most popular soccer player under 25 in the world.
He's also the best soccer player in the world.
But if it hadn't been for a man named Lionel Messi, he would have had the best World Cup final performance of all time.
Yeah,
right.
If Messi hadn't rescued Argentina.
Messi goat.
Speaking of Messi, he's scoring goals. He's correct.
Transition there, Connor. I saw that wasn't on there. I was we got to talk about that.
Not even starting. Doesn't come
not
into
even
the
starting.
50th minute.
He's just chilling.
Ticket price for the Inter Miami, correct?
Yeah.
Inter Miami was $450, and there was no guarantee that he was going to play.
Yeah.
The team said that on Twitter before the game kick. There's no guarantee Lionel Messi will play.
And then he came in and scored the game-winning goal in his first appearance for the team.
Game-winning free kick.
Camp.
And then he also scored against Knight in 8 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, he's had 3 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, it's varsity against middle school.
Yeah, no, that's
the greatest soccer player of all time against one of the worst professional leagues in the world. Yeah,
with his level of conditioning, if he wanted to, his body wanted to, I think he's good enough to play in the MLS until he's 50.
Yeah,
50.
Well,
50.
How old is he?
If he could come off the bench, if he's a super sub and came off the bench, we needed a goal, maybe.
Being good enough to make an MLS team until he's 50. Not start, not be obviously the best player in the league, but
when you had guys like David Beckham and Thierry Henry who did this a while ago, they come over after that. I mean, they were old and they weren't really playing in Premier League or wherever they were playing. And then they come over and are just scoring goals left and right in the MLS. I mean, it's just a completely different level of competition. American soccer is getting better. But in terms of like the depth of talent and the like homegrown talent for these MLS teams, it just doesn't compare in the slightest.
Like you could pick the best players off of every MLS team, and it's probably a team that's trying to stay out of relegation in the Premier League.
They do that for the MLS All-Star game. They played Arsenal this year, I believe. For the MLS All-Star game, is the MLS All-Stars versus Arsenal. They lost 5-0, guys. The best players in the MLS.
So they would get relegated.
Granted, Arsenal was a good team in the Premier League last year, but 5-0.
I saw obviously when the US was in the World Cup, Christian Pulisic was the best player on USA, and I saw he played for Chelsea. And I saw this dude that was like a big Chelsea fan on YouTube or whatever, and someone asked him about Christian Pulisic. He's like, "Oh, he sucks. He's like the worst player on Chelsea." It's just so funny.
We're getting more play. I mean, you notice all of the best American players don't play in the MLS; they play in Europe, and like we're getting better as a national team because of that. But like homegrown talent still isn't there.
Yes. Well, it's also like it's a different system. I mean, the UK and stuff, because you have all those academies. Well, granted, there are some here, but not to the level of like the academies that they have. And they train those kids for like when they're 10. Like it's crazy how young they start them.
One of my favorite like Instagram reels is like this guy is like, all right, if all of the best U.S. athletes played soccer and we put them on the pitch, here's how they would line up, and they would absolutely wreck everyone. And people get so mad, it's like, well, they're not in condition to do that. It's like that's not what he's saying. He's like, if these guys grew up playing soccer and were the athletes that they were, we'd be really good at soccer.
Like Tyreek Hill, you're telling me that dude couldn't be like an all-world soccer player?
Right, exactly. Like, but they don't play soccer, so they don't have that conditioning. They don't have that footwork, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, they're acting like if we like put them there now, like no, that's not what we're saying. Of course, they wouldn't be good. Yeah. So moving on, we are going to go back to some of the TikTok trends here. We're gonna do a draft kind of situation. So essentially, Ryan and Robbie both know the topic of this draft, and they're gonna be drafting things, and I don't know the topic, and so they both make their draft picks, and then I'll make a draft pick. I think at the very end, I have to guess what the topic of the draft is, and that's the whole point.
And we'll see how quickly you catch up and like figure out what we're doing. If we're just making outlandish picks, then.
So I guess we will see. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, but I guess we're going to get into it.
I wanted you to do it because notoriously the worst drafter here. So I want to put you on the hot seat and work on those skills a little bit, Connor. This is for your professional development.
I'm right. Well, no. See, I see. This is a better situation because my scouts won't screw me this time. My scouts haven't had any time to prepare, right? So it's like I don't have to rely on my scout. Yeah, exactly.
This is all you shooting from the hip. You don't have to worry about your scouting fucking it up. Yeah.
See, I'm an elite GM, but sometimes I get pressured into these things where I was like, the organization wants something different than what I want, and
your head coach is like, I want this guy, and you're like, I don't, and then he still wants you to pick him. Like, I have to coach the guy,
and then the owner comes down on me, and I'm I can't do much.
Michael Jordan is your owner, and he knows too much, and so he's not a very good owner, and it's just a whole thing. It's a mess. Man. I'm gonna start off this draft with water.
Oh God, oh God.
I think I'll take the internet.
Oh, that's a good pick as well.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with oxygen.
It's a good pick.
I think I might have picked up on what the topic was already.
I'm gonna go with a car.
I'm gonna go with money and income.
I'm gonna go with family. How many are we going 3 or 5?
We'll go 5. We'll give you some time here.
Oh God! All right.
Make sure you got it like narrowed down.
All right.
A bed.
Chicken wings.
Wait. Okay. Now I'm confused. Chicken wings threw me off. I thought I knew what it was right off the bat, but the chicken wings really threw me for a loop.
Good pick, Ryan. Good pick.
Thank you.
Music.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Coke Zero Cherry.
Okay, that lines up with what I had in my head, but chicken wings really threw me off.
My phone.
I had that one on my board as well.
A house/apartment.
Video games.
My cat.
Good call. Yeah.
I'll go with movies/TV shows.
All right. Connor, what was the draft?
I'm thinking if chicken wings is a real answer, I did not know this about him, but like I'm assuming it's like things you can't live without or things you wouldn't want to live without.
Exactly it. Yeah, you nailed it. Good job.
Let's go.
Chicken wings?
I can't
live without them. Yeah. I shouldn't have started with water. I thought about going elsewhere, but I was like, I mean, that is the 1-1 pick, right? That is the thing you can't live without.
Yeah, but you're trying to like disguise it in a draft like that, so it's like you don't want to give the 1-1 pick is different than like
live without chicken.
That's a really interesting pick. Like you should, Ryan just started with that,
live without
dude. Because if you had said water and he said chicken wings, I'd be like, okay, so some sort of like restaurant item or something like that.
We didn't coordinate that very well. Yeah.
You know, well, hey, it's a warm up. It's the first one. We'll do better for next time.
Black that blurred out. My side.
Not allowed to be on the cam.
So unfortunately, Ryan, I'm gonna have to swing it over to you for this next segment because you are our resident MLB baseball expert, and we need to talk about the MLB standings as it is as of July 25th, 2023.
I mean, you know, baseball.
Indeed.
We're at the 100-game mark. So only, 60 games left to go.
Jeez.
You gotta love MLB. We're coming up on October though. You gotta love the postseason for baseball as well. But as things currently stand, we're gonna start over in the AL as we usually do. The Baltimore Orioles are not tied. Are leading the AL East at a beautiful record of 62-39. They're a game and a half up on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Blue Jays are sitting 6 games back at 56-45, and followed closely by the Red Sox and Yankees, who are both tied in the basement at 53-47.
The
which
Yankees
again,
are technically in
see.
last place. The Yankees
Technically, because the Red Sox hold the tiebreaker at the moment. Over to the AL Central, we actually might have to talk about this division. Shocking, I know.
Not the Twins.
Have won.
Not the
Twins. The Twins are 8-2 in their last 10.
Damn.
Don't look now. But they are 54-48.
6 whole games over 500.
Winning record, yeah.
They're the only team over 500 in this division.
Yikes.
So we're not going to talk about the rest of the teams.
Just the Twins. After I just said they were so forgettable.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Twins are winning. Royals are losing. Royals have not hit 30 wins yet, and they are 103 games into the season. They are actually only 1 game better than the A's. As
yikes!
Actually, only as that sounds.
Only a half game.
Excuse me, only a half game. Robbie is correct. Yeah, it's disgusting. To the AL West, Rangers have come off from the All-Star break playing some really good baseball. Looks like the rest was good for them. To be honest, the entire AL West has played pretty well coming back from the break. The Rangers, Stros, and Angels are all 7-3 in their last 10. Rangers are 59-42. Astros are 2 games back. Angels are 7 games back. The Rangers at 52-49. The Mariners are still hanging around, only 8.5 back. It's going to be a really interesting close to the AL down the stretch, and then the A's are there playing the sport of baseball. To the NL, where we're going to talk about the best team in baseball, Robbie's Atlanta Braves, that have actually had a rough start coming back from the break. They're 4-6 in the last 10, but they do have a league record of 64-34, playing some really good baseball down there in Atlanta. 11.5 games back are the Phillies, followed very closely by the Marlins, who have absolutely imploded coming back from the All-Star break. I think they're 1-9 in their last 10. So definitely rough for them. Mets are down there, 7 games under 500, 18.5 back of the Braves, and the Nationals are 24 back. So the Braves have the largest lead by far in baseball for the division. So they're
this
going to lock it up.
Was an opportunity to put some pressure on the Braves. They haven't been playing great. Maybe you can get it back under 10 games back and put some pressure on it. The Marlins have not done that. So
that is correct. That is correct. To the Central, the Brewers hold a 1.5 game lead over the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds physically are unable and allergic to beat the Brewers. It's kind of disgusting. Cubs are 48-51. Cardinals are 45-56, and the Pirates are 44-56. So all those teams are within 11.5 games of each other. So still relatively competitive over in the NL Central. Out west in the NL, the Dodgers are starting to pull away a little bit. That money is kind of speaking loud. Giants have lost 6 straight, a 4 back to the Dodgers. Diamondbacks have lost 5 straight, 4 back to the Dodgers. Then you got the Padres and the Rockies bringing up the rear. But in terms of like wild card standing right now, so you have the Rays and Astros are leading in the wild card, and then you have the Rays, Astros, and Blue Jays are the top 3 in the wild card standings, and then followed by the Red Sox, Yankees, and Angels are the next 3 up. Currently, you have the Reds are the top team in the wild card, up by half a game. Then you have the Giants, Diamondbacks, Phillies are all tied with the Marlins a half game back. So it's really tight, but like I said, there's still 60 games left to play for a lot of these teams. So a lot could change.
I saw the other day someone had a pretty nice parlay going. They put down, I think it was $5 to win like $1 million, and they had 5 legs, and they're all like, league winning legs. So they had Japan to win the World Baseball Classic, cashed.
Happened.
The Nuggets to win the NBA Finals, cashed.
Happened.
LSU to win the College World Series, cashed. They have 2 legs left. One of them is the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, which is definitely feasible, not that far out there. But the other leg that's still going that doesn't look great is the Padres to win the World Series. But they could still cash it out for like $900. It's like I'd be getting out there so quick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think about it. But
Padres are 6 games back of a wild card spot in the NL.
As things, do you hold on? I mean, they're not out of it. You don't feel confident in the way they've been playing, but they're not out of it.
So interestingly, I mentioned it last week, but I've been playing MLB The Show, obviously the video game that's associated with the MLB, and I found my team. Sometimes you play some of those games and you kind of find that one team that it's not always your hometown team, but it's one team that you like to play with and typically that you're really good with. My one team, surprisingly, is the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm really good with the Blue Jays for some reason. Like Tyler Glasnow, his motion is really fast in the game, and I can't stand pitching with teams that have like the over the head and like cock the leg back, and then Glasnow's pitching is like super quick, and then obviously you got Vladdy on the team, so it's easy dubs for the Blue Jays
all around.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Blue Jay homer,
big Blue Jay
fan.
The Rangers are fun to play with too. So we are gonna move on here, and we are going to talk about some more fantasy football. We did it last week. We did a running back kind of ranking system, in which we discussed.
We got a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
we
true.
And we're not going to listen to any of the feedback.
We discussed the upcoming running backs and who we thought was going to be best for the upcoming fantasy season. We're going to do the same this week, except it's going to be with quarterbacks. We're going to go one by one, and we're going to submit our picks for quarterbacks that we think are going to be in the top 5 of fantasy scoring when it all is said and done at the end of the season. Gentlemen, who would like to start? Because I feel like there are a few that are relative shoo-ins.
We go ahead and lock one in, being Patrick Mahomes.
That does in fact have to be locked in.
I think I would agree with that. I think I would have to agree with that.
I think you could lock in Josh Allen.
I think we would have to agree with that too.
Top 5 quarterback.
So agree with that.
See, now I'm screwed.
No, there's one more that you probably feel good about.
Yeah. I think I know who you're referring to. I don't know. Actually, he might too.
He had a great year last year.
Yeah.
Great running quarterback.
Yes. I don't know if it's a guarantee.
I don't think it is. I think he's who most people would say would be the next one up, but I don't think it's guaranteed.
Here's who I think, because I think honestly it's happened the last 2 years where he's finished like right at 5. So I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals finishing in the top 5, because I think he's been like at 5 like every year.
I think he definitely finishes in the top 5.
It would, I don't see how he doesn't, especially. I don't know how Joe Mixon's going to be this year. I think they're just going to be slinging it a little bit.
Yeah, they will in fact be slinging it.
I would have to agree as well.
We got three on our list right here. Now we're getting into the
so it's back to me with the guy I was referring to, who I think the argument
is Jaylen Hurts.
He might be due for a touchdown regression in terms of running the ball, and I think that's your concern. But he's the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL right now, which inherently makes you so much better in fantasy.
I don't have anything in my head that tells me to go otherwise. It's just more it's a little bit of a gut feeling, but it's not strong enough to divert me away from putting him in the top 5.
That is where I'm at as well.
Ryan, who are we just gonna breeze through this? Are we just gonna put number 5 right there?
Signed, sealed, and delivered?
Ryan, say no. Let's get crazy.
Well, it's Ryan's pick.
No, where we know Ryan say no to Jalen Hurts, and we'll get wild.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, yes.
Okay,
so we have we have a fifth one.
4.
This fifth one is interesting. This could be up for discussion. Oh God, he's gonna say Rodgers.
Nah, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
I have a name in my head, and I hope you say it. This is my sleeper pick.
Oh God,
my 5th best quarterback in the league this year.
Fantasy.
Trevor Lawrence.
No, I disagree.
I've heard this a lot. I've heard this take a lot that people think he's going to be crazy good this year. I also don't see it.
I don't think he's going to be crazy good. I just think he's going to take that next step. He's got a lot of weapons.
I don't think he gets top 5 in fantasy.
I don't think
they get there.
I'm with Robbie. I want to say no to that one. I think he could finish 7.
Close. Yeah, I think he's close. But in terms of the guys on this list,
chalk.
He has the best running back room out of any of the guys we've just said.
Yeah,
which is going to limit his ceiling a little bit in terms of touchdowns.
I feel that. I am. Ooh, this is weird. I am in between a few right now. Does he? I don't know if he comes. I don't know if he comes on the comeback. I'm actually struggling with this one. I can't think of. Why can I not think of other people? Here it is. Here's the take. The man who currently has just recently partnered up with Odell Beckham Jr. We're going to go Lamar Jackson at the number 5 spot. I think a little bit of a resurgence. Not necessarily anything crazy, but might do a little better because let's be honest, Lamar Jackson in terms of his receiving room, it's been pretty awful, except outside of Mark Andrews for the last 5 years. So I don't know.
Maybe does the ghost of Odell Beckham Jr. get him over that hump in terms of his receiver talent?
Hey, I'm not fully convinced.
He's got Zay Flowers now too.
True.
He's got a little bit of rookie help on the receiver room now.
He's got Bateman too.
Yeah, Bateman was good. It's better. The receiving's definitely better.
It's probably the best receiving room he's had.
To be honest, I'm not even looking at the receivers. Can he play 17 games?
That's very good.
That's
point.
the answer, right? He's played 12 games each of the last 2 seasons. He's finished at 12 and 13 in total fantasy points, right? He's losing a total 5 games of production, and he's still an above average quarterback. Yeah. If he's on the field for 17 games, linearly, he's right knocking on the door of a top 5 quarterback. I just can't. He stay healthy?
Yeah,
agreed.
Is it a yes or no though, gentlemen? Do you think he stays healthy? I guess it's the question.
No, I don't think he stays healthy.
Ryan doesn't think anyone stays healthy.
No, I like I said, if Lamar stays healthy, he's talented enough to be has I think enough weapons to be a top 5 quarterback, especially with his legs. He's just not going to stay healthy.
They also had an offensive coordinator change. They brought in Todd Monken from the Georgia Bulldogs, who, thinking about the way that Stetson Bennett plays, does that offense fit Lamar Jackson?
I mean, there was a good amount of options. I mean, he's not going to...
The answer is no.
I don't think so.
But Lamar's also Lamar, I think you argue, is a generational rushing quarterback. So you're not going to completely rip up the playbook because he runs so many triple options and stuff that you're not going to rip that up.
New offensive coordinator, new system, basically a whole new group of wide receivers. I don't think he gets there this year.
All right, I respect. Robbie, I have a weird feeling that I think I know what you're going to say, and I don't like it.
I'm going to take a guy.
Be a meat rider take.
It's not a meat rider take. It's a
guy
he didn't play all of last year, not due to injury, but because he was not allowed by the NFL to play the first 9 games of the season. When he was allowed to play in the NFL previously, was consistently a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He's got a pretty good offense around him. He's got a great running back that can take some pressure off, and I've been harping on that running back's limit their potential. We're going to throw that out the window for right now. Deshaun Watson.
Oh, God. I just don't know if I can stomach it. I don't know.
It hurts.
I think it still takes a little bit too long for him to return to that form. He was out for a year and a half.
Do you think he gets there in the middle of the year? Or do you think he gets back?
I think week 10 and after, he's performing like a top 5 quarterback. But I don't think he's got enough. I don't think he has enough time to knock the rust off to be able to be a top 5 fantasy producing quarterback.
I respect that.
I can see that.
I like that.
I can see that.
It's before the year that he was fully suspended, 3 straight years he was actually number 5 in fantasy, number 5 each year in standard and PPR.
And that's playing on the Texans. He had D-Hop, but other than that, he had who?
Mid-Hop.
Yes, that is correct. So I just don't think he gets there.
And he didn't have D-Hop even for one of those years, right?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Russell Wilson. Don't know why.
I'm not that crazy.
So he's got Amari Cooper. He's got Elijah Moore, Marquise Goodwin.
Oh, yeah, Elijah Moore.
David
Njoku. Yeah.
Ryan
Tillman, the rookie.
Ryan, you got to submit a pick. Who are you going with at this number 5
I gotta go
slot?
with Justin Herbert. I mean, we're really starting to knock down the door of different quarterbacks here. He's got some weapons. Granted, those weapons are getting older. I think the window for a lot of the offensive capabilities are shrinking.
They just drafted like 2 rookie wide receivers.
Right. Mike Williams is going to go absolutely fucking berserk for the first 3 weeks, and then
fall off a cliff.
Perform as a wide receiver 3. Can Keenan Allen stay on the field? He was hurt literally every game last year.
Granted, that was like the first time in his season, in his career.
I agree, but you see them. You see being injured that entire season.
Yeah,
and you're like in your 30s as a receiver.
Yeah. And the way he plays too, it's a lot over the middle. It's a lot inside of the boundary, right? I mean, he's gonna take a lot of hits. I mean, you saw guys. He's not a slot receiver. You saw guys like Wes Welker that play like that. They're just in the field all the time getting hit, and like when they get older, it's harder to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. As we discussed earlier, obviously it's a prove it year for Herbert, and I do believe that he proves it. And in terms of proving it, in terms of his contract, that means being a top 5 fantasy quarterback. So I'm gonna agree.
And you know what makes me actually believe he will be a top 5 is the fact that he's got Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator. There were so many coaching dysfunctions on the Chargers last year. You saw them blow that giant lead to the Jags. Kellen Moore, is a good offensive coordinator.
He's a great play caller. Play caller.
Right. So I think he will thrive with Herbert.
And I'm going to agree also because I think there's only really one other guy that I can see breaking the top 5, and I don't think he does it this year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The only other person I can see doing it is Justin Fields. And I don't think he's going to play like it.
I also had him as a sleeper, a dark horse, but I'm sorry, real quick. I had to go back to the statement that Kellen Moore is a good play caller because we seem to have forgotten Dak Prescott running up the middle with 14 seconds left, and then the clock.
That wasn't designed.
That wasn't designed.
Also,
I mean, you're calling plays for Dak Prescott. What are you supposed to do?
Hey.
Damn. Yo, what if Dak finishes top 5?
No.
Yeah. Hysterical.
Let's rank the quarterbacks that have no chance of finishing.
Number 1, Russell Wilson. Number 2, Dak Prescott.
The highest Dak ever finished was actually number 2.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Probably 19.
I was 18.
Yeah, he's good. Dak's not a bad quarterback by any means.
Well, it's because he had 30 tutties.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, he was going nuts.
In 2021, he had 37.
Yeah, he's balling.
But he also had 6 on the ground, so that's good.
I think we have our 5, but I think we need to throw out some really deep sleepers here, like some guys that are being ranked below 15.
He's on a deep sleeper.
Below 15.
I'm not talking about Zach. How about Jared Goff?
Daniel Jones.
Low. Actually, both of those guys. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
I could see both of them.
Danny Dimes could fuck about.
We are big on the Danny Dimes train.
Kirk Cousins.
No.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair,
Jettas, bro. Yeah,
insane. Actually, and he's got Addison. He's got Hawkinson.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And then
an absolute sleeper.
It's just
where no one thinks.
Yeah. Give it to me.
I'm gonna go with my boy Kenny Pickett.
I said that. I literally said that right before y'all said your 2 picks.
Did actually say that? Yeah, that did happen.
Check the VOD, didn't?
I did.
Chat, drop it in. Let us know.
I think Pickett could be really good. I legitimately. He was he's kind of a very standard quarterback in terms of what we saw. I mean, but look at the situation he was thrown into last year with the Steelers or whatever, and he still was I think you would call him an average quarterback, which in my eyes is impressive in the situation that you were thrown into last year, especially being a rookie. So I think Pickett has a chance to be really good. He reminds me a little bit of Herbert.
He's gonna feed George Pickens too. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
AC team's gonna be so good.
NBA young boy out fucking wide.
Pickett to Pickens. Just gonna be like that call the whole season. But yeah, no, I think those were good sleepers. I think that's I think that's probably gonna be better received than our running back list. We played it
very safe on that list. The running back list, we did not play it safe.
I will say that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record as a Steelers head coach.
That's wild.
And the Steelers betting line total for wins is 8.5.
He's like the Mike Gundy of the pros.
Does he go 9-8 again? Does he continue that streak?
I don't even know.
I mean,
no, Najee. I keep forgetting Najee Harris is a person.
He had such a good season and then fucking sucked because the Steelers line fucking sucks.
But dude, I did this last time too to the listeners. I legitimately last week I saw like a TikTok video and someone was like, oh, sleeper top 5 running back Najee Harris. And I was like, I forgot Najee Harris was a person. I remember hyping him up so much when he came into the league, and then last year was just so disappointing.
An interesting division because I think you expect the Bengals to win the division.
Yeah,
but second place is a crapshoot. I mean, I just have you expect the Bengals to win, but it's also the NFL. You never know if one of those teams gets hot. I think they're all good enough to if they play really well, maybe catch a couple breaks to be up there too. I don't know.
I mean, on the surface level, you would think it's Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers.
Yeah,
that's what I would think right off the bat. But again, that division is
that the best division in
four of
football?
Those teams could make a playoff.
Is that the best division of football, top to bottom?
The Steelers are such a wild card. I'm thinking
about the only other division out there is maybe the NFC East, but the Steelers are better than the Commanders.
It's just so funny because the NFC East was so bad 2 years ago.
The AFC North is always good, always solid.
Well, and this also comes down to in terms of the ranking. We were literally just discussing. I think it's kind of a coin toss between Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. Who's better this season? I think it's a coin toss kind of thing. You just don't know at this point.
It's can Lamar stay healthy versus does Deshaun Watson get comfortable in the offense?
Yeah, exactly. So it'd definitely be a very interesting division to watch. I mean, obviously, everyone last year, it was the is it the West or the South? It's the Chiefs and Chargers or the
West.
Broncos. Yeah, thank you. The AFC West. But yeah, everyone remember whenever Russ went to the Broncos last year, everyone was like, "Oh my lord, the AFC West is stacked," and then it was not.
And then Broncos and Raiders both sucked. Yeah.
And then Russ cooked.
Russ absolutely burned in the kitchen.
Dude, I remember seeing one of our podcast clips the other day when we were talking about the Russes are cooking because Westbrook had like a 3 for 20 game and Wilson played terrible.
That's why I made the meme of them in the laundromat because they're both washed.
All right, boys, real quick before we move on to the potential final stuff. So I remember last year specifically, there was about a 3-week run of just absolutely atrocious Thursday night football games.
Yep.
Just bad. I mean,
best times in football, baby. That was awesome.
It was just 6-9. It was Colts Broncos.
That was the worst.
Colts Broncos was the
worst game I've ever watched in my life.
No shot there. I think one of those teams was supposed to be on prime time and got kicked from it a couple of weeks.
Remember Herbie was just starting to do the calls for it, and by the third game, Herbie sounded dead. He's like, I would rather be anywhere else but here. This game sucks.
So let me take you through a couple.
Oh God!
I'm gonna highlight a few just for me. So week 2, Vikings Eagles. I think that'll be
great game.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Kirk Cousins is gonna throw, but
Giants Niners in week 3. I still think
good
relatively
matchup.
competitive. Week 4. Lions Packers.
Sleeper.
Not great.
The Lions could go nuts.
Suck. The Packers suck.
But interdivision game, I think it'll be contentious. That week 17 last year was a great game where the Lions knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. A little bit of revenge there. I think that could be a good game.
Lions are a sleeper team this year. Legitimately, I think.
We actually week 18 now, but anyways, keep going.
We got week 5, Bears at Commanders. That could be rough.
Don't love that.
That's October 5th. Circle that on your calendar, ladies.
Bears. If Fields is good, I don't know.
Next week,
Sam
Broncos in Arrowhead.
That'll be a good game. The Broncos will be better this year, I think.
Yeah.
Also, the Chiefs love to keep their primetime games close. I feel like the Chiefs in primetime for whatever reason keep them close. I think Mahomes just likes to get the views up, and then he's
exactly.
Now,
week 7, we got Jags at the Saints.
That could be a fun game.
It's a weird one. It's a weird game.
Warren's going to be hucking it in the dome.
Derek.
Week 8, Bucks at Bills.
Oh, that's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be gross.
In Buffalo?
Yes.
It's awful.
Baker rolling up into Buffalo, you're going to lose him under all the snow.
I keep forgetting Baker Mayfield is going to be the starter for the Bucks. Golly.
We got week 9, Titans rolling into Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
That's a game.
Yeah, that is a game.
That feels like a really nice like Najee versus Derrick Henry duel.
Henry,
They're both just gonna go
the Alabama
and,
boys.
like nothing's gonna happen. Yeah.
Week 10, this one's tasty. We got the Carolina Panthers rolling into Chi-Town.
I was looking at going to that game. I was 100% looking at going to that game.
Yeah, let
What
me
do
know.
you, Rob?
I was talking to my
I'll
buddies that are
drive up.
Chicago fans, and they're like, "You should come." I was like, "I might. I might pull."
I'll drive up. I'll crash it.
What if Bryce Young is like elite this year?
He will be elite. I don't know if it's gonna be this year, but
You never know.
that's what I tell myself. I hope
Week 11, Bungles in Baltimore will be a good divisional game.
That's a great one.
Week 12, Dolphins at Jets for a Black Friday game.
It could be good. Yeah.
I forgot there's a Black Friday game now. That's awesome. Thanksgiving weekend football.
Week 13, Seahawks come to Dallas.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm not excited.
Yeah,
that might be a little bit of a bit off there.
Didn't really stir the pot for me.
Yeah, no.
Week 14, Patriots at Steelers. Again, I
don't really. Yeah, mid off again.
Back mid offs.
Week 15, Chargers at Raiders. I mean, I don't love it again.
Well, Jimmy G will be hurt by then, so it'll be whoever the Raiders are rolling out a backup quarterback. I don't know if they're backup quarterback.
The Raiders might be the biggest question mark in the league. Like
no,
I have,
be bad. They're just not going to be.
And their division is really good still.
Yeah.
Well,
guys, I think the Broncos are going to be a lot better this year.
I say question mark. I still don't think they get to the playoffs. So I don't really think that's a question mark.
You know, Devontae Adams though, he's pretty good.
Week 16, Saints at Rams. Yeah.
What? Oh, the Rams are actually.
LA fans really show out for the Rams.
But like the Rams are a legit team that like. What are they going to be like this year after last year with because Cup's healthy now, isn't he? He's back and he's not.
Yeah, their defense is Aaron Donald and
true
because they don't even have Ramsey anymore.
Yeah.
So that is the Thursday night before Christmas. And the week 17 to end the season is the Jets at the Browns.
Oh, that's a Elijah Moore revenge game.
Will there be a team fighting for a playoff spot?
Yes.
In that game.
Actually,
I could see it.
I think there will be. I think there's a pretty good
that.
Yeah, I think that's a showdown for an AFC wildcard spot right there.
Absolutely, I think it is the last AFC wildcard spot.
I would agree
right there in that game.
God, Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. Who do I cheer for? It's so bad.
30 Rodgers versus deep tissue Deshaun.
Actually, Zach.
Jeez, that's awful.
Actually, Zach Wilson will be starting by then. He's going to take.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
My bad. You're right.
So thanks for sitting through that with us. I just wanted to get the opinion, just because I remember how brutal it was last year.
Doesn't feel as bad as last year, but also like the beginning of the year. Hey, Colts Broncos. Like I don't think you would have instantly been like that's going to be a bad game.
No,
right? Like
because everyone thought Russ was going to be good still.
And like Matt Ryan was supposed to be okay. Like he wasn't going to set the world on fire. Didn't expect him to. I mean, I think you would have been like, oh, this will be a decent game. Javonte Williams, but he was already hurt by then. So
that legit and DeAndre, or no, sorry, it's somebody else. Good lord. I legit think that's the worst football game I've ever watched in my life.
It was awful.
Colts Broncos?
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like
it was terrible.
High school, college, like a lot of times if it's like that in college, it's more so funny. But like it was just that game was just horrible to watch. Like,
but I couldn't take my eyes off it.
It was not fun.
I needed to go to bed, and I couldn't take my eyes off the game. I was like, this is awful, but I want to watch every second of it.
And then it ended with like a horrible play that Russ like missed Hamler in the back of the end zone.
And then Hamler Hamler just lost his shit because he's like, I'm so open right now. Like,
oh, that was terrible. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for covering that schedule there, Ryan.
Yeah.
We'll see throughout the year if any of our predictions come true or if the games turn out to be worse than we had anticipated.
I think the best regular season game of the year, just right before we move on to it, is when the Bills come in to play the Bengals Sunday Night Football for the DeMar Hamlin rematch game, November 5th, when they coming back into Cincinnati.
Yeah,
tickets are so already fucking expensive for that game. It's crazy.
I was upset we couldn't work in the Browns. No, Ravens are in town the weekend that I'm there. but I could not get a flight late enough to go to the game.
So that reminded me of a video I saw. So I apologize, I'm forgetting his name right now. I think it was Tyler Wells. It was a Los Angeles Angels pitcher that passed away when he was like 27 or something like that.
Yep.
And then the Angels ended up throwing a no-hitter like the game after that he passed away. Something cool that I think a lot of people didn't know. But this is just obviously the DeMar Hamlin thing reminded me of this. Something cool that people didn't know. The top comment was that the last time that a combined no-hitter had been thrown in California was his birthday. Was the day that he was born. It was like absolutely nuts stat. I was like, that's crazy.
And it's really sad. He died in our hometown.
Did he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, how did he die?
It was an overdose.
Oh, I did not know that. That's awful.
Don't forget too that the first play after the DeMar Hamlin game,
it was a punt return. Yeah, kick return for a touchdown.
Ran the kick return back.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's what reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy moments. You know, obviously never want anything like that to happen in any sport ever. But I mean, obviously those moments are so special.
It's also not Tyler Wells. You're thinking of somebody else.
What's his name? He was on the Angels.
Yes, I know.
Tyler?
I know who you're talking about. I was like, it's not.
It's either Tyler or it's either Wells.
Tyler Skaggs.
Skaggs, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tyler Skaggs, that's who I'm thinking of. Apologies
Yep.
for getting their name incorrect. Moving on here, we are going to get into our last segment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are finishing off the bracket tonight. We are doing best sports cities bracket, and we did the entire second round last week, and I think we're going to have some fun discussions tonight, and we're going to get into it. Robbie and Ryan have put forward their opinions, and it's time to put up or shut up at the end of this bracket, so we're going to see. Gentlemen, who do you think is the favorite going into tonight?
I think Chicago and Boston's both a tough one to knock out. Either of those.
Yep.
I want to say that they're playing each other, though, if I'm not mistaken on the matchups.
That would
Kind
be
of
crazy.
wild, man.
Are we ready for the end of the bracket?
Oh, absolutely.
First matchup of the day, number 1 seeded New York City versus number 8 seeded Miami.
New York gets through on that. Miami, I think, is a great sports town for some of these like cities that only have 3 teams, but
Yeah.
you're not.
It is simply New York.
New York is moving on. Number 5, somehow, I don't really know how they got here, to be honest. Number 5, the San Francisco Bay Area against number 20, Cleveland.
Oh, fun matchup.
That is.
A reminder of previous matchups. San Francisco previously got past Minneapolis and Nashville. So not the most difficult path.
That's why they're here.
Not the most difficult path.
Nashville put up about as much resistance as a wet paper towel in that first round match.
Indeed. Yeah, Nashville's not a sports town.
But you know what? In my mind, neither is San Francisco.
I don't think I can move Cleveland past San Fran. I just don't think I can.
I have some arguments here.
I guess like if I'm thinking of like we're talking about sports towns, right? Like I just like Cleveland is one that comes to mind. Like that is what Cleveland has going for them. No matter like their teams haven't been good, but the sports is what they have going for them in Cleveland.
I mean, you got some rabid Niners fans and you got some rabid Warriors fans.
But the Warriors fans only rabid when they're good. Do you remember like the early 2000s Warriors?
Yeah. But the Niners fans are good fans.
Agreed, but Niners fans remind me of like Cowboys fans. Like how many of them are really in the Bay Area? Like a Niners isn't one of those really national like brands. Like in terms of like
no one grows up in Arkansas is like I want to be a fucking Browns fan. Like no one does that.
Right. But people are like Niners fans. Like Niners fans are like probably right behind the Cowboys in terms of like nationwide fan base.
Because they were good in the 80s and 90s.
Correct.
What's the is it split here, gentlemen? And am I going to have to make a decision?
I'm going with Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a great sports town. I think they deserve better teams, and I think they're getting there. But I'm going with Cleveland.
Ryan, you going with San Francisco?
It is crazy that they have lost 2 teams or going to lose 2 teams in like less than 10 years.
Yep.
That does in fact speak some volume to being a sports town.
Yeah.
And people will argue that that's Oakland versus San Francisco, but we're considering the whole metropolitan
Bay Area. Yeah.
Right.
What do we think?
All right. The fact that they lost teams is I think that's the nail in the big push.
Yep.
All right, we're moving.
I convinced Ryan there. Here we go.
I can get behind you, and I mean I can get behind that.
Pause.
Moving Cleveland on. Next matchup, number 3 Chicago versus number 11 Detroit.
A great matchup. Another great matchup.
I love Detroit. I think they've like really endured some tough times. But I don't think they can beat Chicago.
I don't either. And they're a tough matchup. I think Detroit Cleveland would have been an awesome matchup. I think those are two really similar towns in terms of their misery and their love for their sports teams, despite all of that misery.
Yeah.
But I agree. Chicago, they love their Cubbies, they love their Bears, they love their Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox. I mean, those are all some really diehard fan bases you got there.
I agree.
All right, we're moving on. Chicago. The last matchup of this round, number 10 seeded Boston versus number 31 seeded Buffalo. It hurts. It hurts so bad.
An absolute Cinderella run.
And props to Buffalo. They really came out and showed out in this bracket. They put up a great fight to this point.
Keep in mind they upset number 2 seeded Los Angeles in the first round.
Good.
So.
Good.
LA fans are soft. Charmin soft at that.
Yeah.
We just talked about how the Rams and Chargers have no support in LA. I mean, that just confirms our theory there. But Buffalo's had a great run. I don't think I can move them past Boston here. I can't do it.
Goodbye, Bills Mafia.
All the respect in the world.
Gentlemen, we have the Final Four, and we are going to our first matchup of the Final Four. Number 1 seeded New York City versus number 20 seeded Cleveland.
We've got a great Final Four here. I think we've done a great job, narrowing it down to some sports towns.
Absolutely. What do we think here?
I'm still kind of sad that Cincinnati lost out so early, being a homer. No.
They had a tough matchup from what I remember.
They had Miami in the first round.
Yeah.
They lost to Miami. New York City and Cleveland. What is the thought process?
I'm torn because New York City is a big city, but they love their sports.
Yeah, it's a good 1 seed. Like New York City is a solid 1 seed, regardless of how many teams there are and stuff.
They love the Mets, and the Mets fucking suck. They love the Yankees. The Yankees have been good forever.
They love the Giants.
The Knicks, dude. The Knicks haven't won anything, and there's so many rabid diehard Knicks fans.
As soon as the Knicks show up, even for a game, remember Linsanity? Yeah. That Knicks team wasn't good, and then they were the biggest thing in the country because they were in New York City, and everyone was at the Knicks.
The Knicks might be the strongest New York team.
I would agree in terms of fan base.
Yeah,
they haven't won anything.
Because when the Yankees are bad, the people bitch about the Yankees.
Yeah.
And no, I actually don't think the Mets have all that great of a fan base.
Dude,
they still show up occasionally.
Yeah. Cleveland's good, man, but New York is a deserving 1 seed.
Yes,
it's up to you guys.
I think I give it to New York.
Agree.
Too many people, too many different teams. The fact that they could still support all those teams.
Yeah,
I think we have to say goodbye to our other Cinderella here in Cleveland. Yeah, another just fantastic run. Another great showing from a smaller sports town.
Gentlemen, this may end up being, other than the final, this may end up being our matchup of the bracket. Not only matchup of the week. In
my mind, this is the championship game. I don't know about you, Ryan, but in my mind, this is it right here.
For our folks listening at home, number 3 seeded Chicago versus number 10 seeded Boston.
We know that Boston's been seeded too low.
We know too low of a seed for Boston, bro. That's disgusting.
Well, no, because remember we did it objectively, I
know. I'm just saying that's a wild seed for them.
But it's good though, because that means they weren't matched up with a 2 or 1 seed earlier, because they were at a 10 seed kind of thing. So, but this is a brutal matchup. This is pretty bad. Oof.
I guess we have to consider taking out Boston's recent success in sports.
Okay.
Right? Boston fans are really good because all of the Boston teams have been so good our entire lives.
Yep.
And so if they weren't good, and we might not know this because Boston sports hasn't been bad since we've been alive, do they show up when they're down in the dumps? Because Chicago does, for sure.
Bears fans have showed up to some really shitty teams.
Think about when the Cubs had their curse,
100 years.
They were still there.
100 and whatever.
Damn, they were still there.
I was leaning Boston initially, but thinking about that, I started to lean Chicago because of that.
Like I said, I don't know.
But the Red Sox also had a very similar curse. Not 100 years, but it was 80 something.
And same thing. I mean, they still came out.
Because you're comparing the 2 most iconic baseball stadiums, Fenway and Wrigley.
Agreed. Yep.
I think those are the 2.
The biggest thing I think that hurts Chicago here is the White Sox.
Don't sleep on the Southsiders, man.
I'm sleeping on them a little bit.
They love their socks.
I'm
sleeping on them a little bit. A little bit. We got to decide, gentlemen. Unfortunately, it's this isn't the championship.
The Bruins and Blackhawks are right. I mean, they're both
Same.
have had recent success. Both are ravenous fans.
Patriots, Bears. Patriots have a lot of bandwagon fans.
They do.
I don't know how well supported the Patriots are outside of the Tom Brady dynasty. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Let me give Belichick some.
Of course, yeah.
But
I think Boston. I think the Celtics fans are potentially better than the Bulls fans
for sure.
Well,
and
the Celtics have also had more success.
So we're also comparing two cities with two of the greatest dynasties in their respective sports.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bulls versus the Patriots.
Well, the Celtics have the most championships all time. They're tied with the Lakers.
I'm talking about like short term like dynasties.
Oh, okay.
Not overall.
I was about to say the Celtics are like the best.
I think in terms of like lack of success, the best fan base are the Cubs.
Yes,
they've had one World Series in over 100 years.
Agreed.
I think that screams like, and they sell out like every game.
Dude, are we going with Chicago here? So it sounds like we're leading towards.
This is super hard.
This is a tough.
Whatever team we don't pick is second place.
Yeah, I agree.
They beat New York.
I'm going Chicago. I think just based on what Ryan said, the Cubs. I think they're really close, but the best fan base is probably the Cubs.
Ryan, Chicago or Boston?
Yeah, I think I got to go Chicago.
Boston loses in the Final Four to number 3 seeded Chicago in a brutal matchup. It was a double overtime buzzer beater matchup.
Clash of Titans.
And then the finals of our best sports cities bracket: number 1 seeded New York City versus number 3 seeded Chicago. Robbie, are we putting Chicago through New York City here?
Absolutely, I would have to agree with that. We're talking about also the number 1 and number 3 most populated cities in the United States as well. Big cities making it to the end here, which I think makes sense. They have the most teams, most people to support.
Our best sports city, factually by our bracket, is Chicago, Illinois. Give it up for Chicago here. It's a great run in this tournament.
Yeah, it sucks because I talk so much shit about Chicago sports, and I just made them the best sports town in my bracket. Yeah. That sucks.
Some of the just to run back some of the things on this bracket that were interesting. I just wanted to just go through some of the upsets. I'm at Cleveland upsetting Denver in the first round. We had Pittsburgh upsetting Houston in the first round. We had
absolutely
Buffalo, 31 seeded Buffalo, upsetting number 2 Los Angeles in that first round as well. Buffalo also upsetted Atlanta in that next round. A great little 2-game stretch for Buffalo.
I don't think that's really an upset. Atlanta's not.
Cleveland upset Dallas in the second round, a 20 seed and 4 seed matchup. And yeah, outside
Cleveland
of that,
really did it to Texas, didn't they?
Yeah. Cleveland did indeed. Then they ended up beating San Francisco. So a very, very fun bracket all around. Obviously, you guys who are listening, please give us stuff in the comments on what you would like to see next in terms of a bracket. We come up with some of our own ideas, but if you guys have anything that you really want to see, run it up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. But I mean, that's it for me, gentlemen. If you guys have anything else that you want to say or address,
I'm good. Ryan, you got anything else you need to add?
No. I think that was it. I think it was a great podcast. We appreciate you guys listening. Check us out every week. We're being consistent with our posting. Spotify, YouTube. Interact with us on social media and let us know your thoughts and comments.
That's it.
Sign us out, Bergstone.
We'd like to respond to comments. If you comment something, we'll try to get back to you. Oh, I was going to bring up the LeBron YouTube short about LeBron being 1-9 in the finals. Had some great comments on it.
It was idiots.
Awesome.
I even put in
so many cringe comments. Like it literally says this is satire. Like it literally says we're actively joking. But it was
people are just showcasing that they don't know what the word satire means. Like that's just all that is.
Yeah. People don't understand trolling, which is why trolling still exists. Like if people caught on to when people were trolling, it wouldn't exist. But people are too dense for that. So we will continue to troll you. That will keep happening. But please respond to us on social media. Go check us out on every social media you can think of, pretty much. And for myself, Ryan, and Connor, thanks for listening, and please gamble responsibly.
See ya.